Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into the 15-star Super Boss Uatis Kid for the 9.5th anniversary with some massive damage teams, like some really, really massive damage teams. Over 100 billion, if you will. So the first team is led by Luffy against the Dex Super Boss. That was the team. Those are the sports. Let's dive in. Now, both the teams you see today do use new batch. We have stuff like Krooby, we have stuff like Luffy, we have stuff like Shanks, and these particular characters, they're going to help you guys do massive, massive damage. Now, this particular team, led by Luffy with a friend Captain Kaido, can flip it around. You can use Kaido with a friend Captain Luffy, however, you are going to get less damage because you then have to use lead performers on this particular stage against Zoro with the ulti support to get around the despair. If you have Luffy Max Kaido friend Captain, you're going to be hunky-dory, but look, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. On stage 2 against Zoro, he has resilience, and he makes every orb unfavorable except for tandem slots. Plus, he gives you despair on your captain. So ideally, you want to use the Luffy super type, or super class, as well as his special. The end of turn damage from Kaido gets around the resilience, and then that way, with Luffy's T&D buff, you actually avoid the interrupt on this particular stage. There is an interrupt where you get a Wano, Tandem, and Recovery Orb multiplier at 1.5. There's 6 turns of Paralysis and 6 turns of Threshold, so a bunch of nasty stuff. But when you kill Zoro, your captain gets 10 turns of cooldown, which means Luffy, especially if you have him Limit Break expanded, will get his cooldowns back right away. Now, I actually stuffed up here, looking at this damage. I used Luffy before using the Super EX. I should have used the Super EX before using Luffy. That way, I would have got a much higher conditional boost. Well, sorry, not a conditional boost, a additional damage. It probably would have been a 2 times damage. So make sure to use Kaido before using Luffy. As you can see right there, I realized I'd stuffed up. I was going to reload the app. But look, I just honestly, I couldn't be bothered. The damage is just, it's a little bit different. But utilizing Luffy gives you 2 turns of an attack boost. There is an intimidation on this fight where if you use an attack boost, you'll lose it by 1 turn. So Luffy's just perfect here. Using Krooby means you can swap into Captain. And that way, you can then use Kaido to get cooldowns on Luffy. Now, that's not essential, I worked out as well. Again, I just didn't really want to reload the app because like it makes it so hard to record when I do stuff like that. But basically, you don't have to use Krooby that early. You can just use the Kaido special. Then use something like Big Mom after that. Big Mom is going to give you a double conditional. Plus, with the Otama support, she can actually increase it by 0.15, I believe, which is pretty nice because then Kaido's and hers gets increased. Next, we have the lead performers. They're going to give us Super Tandem as well as increase the Orb buff. They give themselves a Tandem Orb, which is really, really nice. And then you can use Luffy once again to give yourself a Chain Boundary. Finally, we can use the special of the Sweet 3 to give us a Chain Boost. They're just basically a hit stick here, and they give us a nice chunky Chain Boost. Plus, they activate both Luffy's condition while still being a powerhouse character as well, so that works out quite nicely. Once we've done that, we're going to start our chain with Big Mom, use the Super Tandem of the lead performers, move into our Rush Kaido level 5 friend captain, and then go back to lead performers and make our way up from there, utilizing the final tap of Luffy. Now remember, if you have Kaido level 5 yourself, you can use a Kaido yourself and then use lead performers on the previous turn to remove the despair. But if you don't, and you have Luffy, you can definitely do it this way. I think having a Rush level 5 Kaido is going to be more beneficial than having a level 5 Final Tap Luffy. But, look, I might be wrong there. Not a lot of people have level 5 Final Tap Luffy that I've seen. So, if you could find one, like, that might be something that helps you guys out there. But as you can see, we get the Super Tandem. It's only a 1.5 times Super Tandem, so it's a little bit low. Kaido's Rush is really, really nice. It's going to give us a 2 times attack boost, I believe, to strength and to powerhouse characters, and then Luffy's final tap is going to increase whatever strength damage we've done. So, sitting at a nice chunky 124 billion damage, as you can see right there, that is the final number, 124,748,941,880 damage. Now remember, this should be a little bit higher if you use the Super EX of Kaido before using Luffy special. It's going to be a little bit higher. This is at 1.1 as well, so look, it's good, but there are some better stuff that's floating around, some other stuff that we're using, but if you guys want to check that out, you'll have to wait till later in Super Boss, so make sure to hit the subscribe button if you guys are new, and hit that bell notification if you're not, so you don't miss out on any of the Super Boss content, and hey, hit the like button here, because like, we love Super Boss. Let's move on to the next team. Alright, so moving on to Ints now, and this time we are using Shanks. This particular team is led by my boy, 9.5th anniversary Shanks. that was the team. Those supports dive on. Let's dive on in. Now, using Shanks as captain is super nice here. And if you have the new Bardo support, you can actually run that on Robin. So that way you can actually get a increase in resistance damage as well. Now, with a Gear 5 friend captain, the 6+, this team actually works very, very nicely. It does require you to have Zoro at level 5. But if you don't have Zoro at level 5, you can try some cheeky stuff with like Kobe and Nami and all these other shenaniganry as well. And like I said at the end of the last part of the video, make sure to stay tuned to the end of Super Boss for some more chunkier stuff. On stage 2 against Luffy, he puts up 4 turns or 5 turns of Threshold. He has a barrier, he does a bunch of Nazi stuff. But you can just pass the turn here. When you pass the turn, he gives you 3 turns of Special Reverse and Super Block Orbs, which we don't care about because we have Shanks and we have Gear 5 6+. Both of these are covered with these 2 units as captains, which is super nice. On the final stage, there is 6 turns of defense up, and there is an interrupt if you do any damage at all. Plus, you can't use any chain boundary. Any chain boosting or chain boundary effects will be negated for 99 turns, so you actually can't do that. On turn 1, we want to use Shanks, and then you want to use the Robin special, and if you have Bardo, that will actually proc here. So that way you can actually tank the damage that you will take on turn 1, because he will kill you otherwise, so you will die. However, like you guys saw in my previous video, if you're using Gear 5 as a captain, he'll just die and then revive, and you can do some fun stuff that way. But, like I said, there is that free-to-play Barto, the Dex one. It goes on Robin, which works exceptionally well. However, if you have the support rare recruit, use that Bardo on Robin, and you're going to do more damage because you get resistance here. But on the second turn, Kid puts up 5 turns of Threshold and does an Intimidation against Orb buff. So, very annoying stuff here. And the only way I could really work it for this team to get around the Threshold is to use supports, because I really wanted to keep Luffy on the team so we could activate Zoro's Super Tendon. We have the Hero support, the Chopper support. That's going to remove 4 turns. And then with Beppo, tapping a perfect with Kid Law allows us to remove the other turn. But Zoro's an attack booster. He gives us a condition. We have the Orb boost from Shanks. We have the condition from Robin. We have Color Affinity from our Gear 5. We have the Super EX giving additional damage taken thanks to our Friend Captain. We're going to use our Friend Captain special to increase our Orb buff. And once we use Kid Law, we can get the increased Super type damage as well. With that, we get Shanks' special back. So that gives us a 1.5 times chain multiplicative. We increase our Orb buff, and then we can use the Super EX to increase that chain multiplicative, which is really, really nice. Now, I am still stuck with the 1 turn of Threshold, and ideally you'd want to tap with Kid Law first. However, Kid Law will activate their own Super Tandem if you tap with the 4 characters shown here. So I had to, unfortunately, tap Robin, Zoro, and then Luffy. And we're still hitting with the Threshold, which kind of sucks. I hit a Great there too, which kind of sucks. But once we hit with Gear 5 and the Rush, it goes absolutely ballistic. And we can do enough damage to actually kill this particular boss for the video. Sitting there at a nice chunky 218,755,797,108. Like I said at the end of the last clip, there is some other chunkier stuff floating around though, but this particular team, it did work very, very nicely. It does a lot of damage, as you guys can see here. If you're missing stuff like Kobe and whatnot, this particular team might help you guys out. But, like I said, hit the bell notification if you're not new. If you are new, hit the subscribe button. Most importantly, though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. Belt the like button for more Super Boss content, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you for watching.